Hi everyone, welcome to episode 3 of Real Life Book. This is my look at the world, the prairies, the jungles, the people, the anarchists, the politicians, the rich people, the poor people. But speaking of rich people, this episode is to show you a juxtaposition between modern capitalist living and those living as the last free people on Earth. And as a Brazilian, the idea of indigenous people living primitively in connection with nature and in absolute harmony with the Mother Earth is something which appeals to me, and I'll show you a clip later on at the end of this video. So kicking off, things are developing quite interestingly in Egypt, so my advice is just remain very skeptical. It's fantastic that the people are rising up and speaking, and what we're seeing now in Egypt as well is the price of food rocketing upwards, and people are very hungry. And, price differentials in food and things being a bit strange is one of the inevitable outcomes of centralized planning, and when states try to get involved in the kind of free flow of ideas, of information, of food, and of resources. So I have to admit I'm purely an anarchist in terms of food distribution as well. I don't think the government should have any say in controlling prices and subsidizing one industry or another industry. To give you an example, in Great Britain and in the European Union, cattle farmers and sheep farmers are incredibly subsidized to the point that the taxpayer, the slaves in the livestock management program, are paying a lot of tax just to keep people breeding animals to be killed. And in a kind of free, anarchic world, if it wasn't in the interest of the farmer, because there is no state to give him subsidies, if it wasn't in his interest to kind of keep all those animals in a cage and then kill them because no one wanted to buy it, then it wouldn't happen. So state subsidy is all wrong.
Brand new Ferrari. These are the temptations when you want to join the system and have personal glory and very big boys' toys. To think that a car like this, about £100,000, $160,000 US, the amount of change an individual could do with money like this in, say, Africa or South America, helping small families, a person could get so much enjoyment, so much personal happiness from going personally to a very poor country and helping some people. You could do so much work with the amount of money that a car like this costs. Yes, it's beautiful in a material way, but when you think what a car like this actually represents, it does become very ugly. I don't know, maybe I'm just jealous because I can't afford one.
Point number 2, a lot of viewers, they do write to me a lot, and thank you very much for remaining part of the conversation. And many people ask me to mention chemtrails, or look at chemtrails, or discuss chemtrails. I, for one, am very skeptical in terms of all the different theories as to what they are, as in bubonic plague carrying barium-filled death machines flying through the sky and depopulating the Earth like that. I don't know, or whether it's weather modification, or whether it's radar-type metal particles so that they can communicate better. All I do know is that in the mainstream media and on television, they have mentioned geoengineering, and the Bill Gates Foundation has talked about using massive trails of condensation in the sky to try and cool the planet down. The German military got taken to court for their jets spraying metal particles for some sort of radar jamming thing. So when we look up at the sky and we see planes doing strange trails, it might not be a kind of death depopulation agenda. It might be something a lot more boring, but it's still they're still trying to keep it secret. So to hell with them. Why the fuck are they spraying our skies with this shit when planes should just be flying freely without these secret experiments going on? But anyway, just to bring some more lightheartedness, let's have a look at this clip now.
Hi guys, I'm part of the undercover anti-terror squad. I'm just checking you guys are real PCSOs.
Oh, well,
yeah, because we've had reports in this area that there's people, terrorists, dressing in PCSO uniform. So as a member of the undercover anti-terror squad, can I please see some ID?
You know, actually, that is our part of the role, isn't it?
Have you got any identification?
Where's that going to be aired to?
This, probably YouTube. We have a channel called The Love Police. But you know what these things are in the sky? Like, you know what that is?
That is the...
Have you heard of what those are?
You know what they are.
you know the...
It's heat.
Yeah? Heat.
Heat from the plane.
fumes from the plane.
When you're really cold, because you got hot air and you blow it.
Oh, is it okay if I film you guys? No, because okay. Well, that's to me. Let me just see if I can get it to focus again. What I want to know is how come some aircraft, when they fly over, don't leave a trail, and some planes, when they fly over, leave a big trail?
Because they're higher up.
Higher up, but they're all flying at 33,000 feet.
You see that? I'll tell you why that happens.
What's
It
that?
goes a distance away.
Yeah?
The wind up there, it's nothing comparing to what is down here.
Yeah?
It spreads it out within time.
Uh-huh.
So
So do you think those are those just natural clouds that they're creating?
not clouds? I would say that is the fumes they are.
The fumes.
The fumes, yeah.
I just think in the simple concept, when you breathe in hot air,
Yeah.
I can't believe I'm answering this, but anyway, you produce warm air.
Yeah.
Because it's so cold up there, that's when you get...
Aviation fuel is different to the fuel they use on the...
The aviation fuel is different.
What do you think?
What do I think it is? I'll tell you what I think. I think all around the world, the military and governments are doing experiments to do with weather modification and also radar technology.
Yeah.
And I think what these white things are in the sky, what we see here, I think what these are very small particles of something, and then they use it for like military communication or radar technology or other reasons. So I think...
No, but there's no right or wrong answer, I suppose.
Yeah, because we don't know. Yeah, we don't know.
Years back, I was seeing the same thing, so they could...
How many? 40 years back. 40 years back.
They had aviation then, didn't they? They had aviation 40 years ago, so it's the same thing.
It was the same thing there.
Yeah. Anyway, because I'm the Love Police, can I please give you guys a hug on camera? Come on. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Take care, guys. Nice to meet you. Cheers. Bye-bye. PCSO chemtrail chat. Who the thunk it? Who the thunk it?
I've been thinking a lot recently, people, about forgiveness and about the kind of general understanding of human to human. And one of my theories, which I'm going to go with right now, who knows, if the cap fits, I might keep it. But I reckon if we spend enough time with anyone, you will not only forgive them, you will start to see the humanity behind them. So beneath all the madness in the media, beneath all the separation, beneath all the kind of reports of neo-Nazis marching against Asians, or Muslims fighting this, or Christians bombing Muslims, or Muslims beheading reporters, every tragic tale has a very sad story at its heart. And to kind of paraphrase a film I saw recently, hurt people tend to hurt other people. And one of the great tragedies of our society is that we take injured souls and we put them in jail. And as someone who has spent a couple of days in solitary confinement in a cage, I wouldn't wish that upon my worst enemies, much less upon people who we call criminals. If we look at statism as the ultimate crime, as the ultimate evil, what criminals are in our society, they are the symptoms of the original lie, the great noble lie, which is the state has some sort of monopoly on how you should run your life. And let me just show you a document which I'm having to deal with just now. And one thing I like about this document is I'll have to cover it up here, otherwise you'll all know where I live. But HM Revenue and Customs. This is the kind of livestock management group of the Queen and the royal family. As you can see, there's a little crown there. Very important to be reminded that we're in a monarchy. They keep writing to me saying that I must do this, and the language is very interesting. Dear Mr. Charles Veitch, blah, 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 you must do this. And I disagree, and once you kind of see through that illusion, it gives you great strength. Where am I going with this? Yeah, what I want to say is, as well as forgiving other people for their problems within the great original lie, which is state and religion, which we've managed to just about throw off in the Western world, this isn't to say that we shouldn't connect at the source direct to the universe itself and if I'd like to describe myself as a thoughtful, sometimes spiritual person, but the word spiritual carries a lot of baggage of church, of rabbis, of imams, of brainwashing cults. So maybe, I don't know, I'm just a human being, and part of being human is this weird consciousness experience we have, which some people may label as spiritual. I caught up with Danny Shine just for coffee, and I had a burrito with him, which was very nice. And when I bumped into him, he was like, the first thing he said, even before we exchanged pleasantries and how's your family, how's your girlfriend, la 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 la, he says, Charlie, stop using the term Zionism in your videos. And I defended my use of the term Zionism. But anyway, over to this video now for Danny's view on this.
Danny,
Yeah.
what's really going on?
Listen, Charlie, get your own questions, mate. That's it.
Is that what's going on?
Yeah.
Okay, Danny, is everything still okay?
Everything is still okay, unless it's not.
Danny, what is the problem with people using the term Zionism when trying to criticize certain people?
Oh, because firstly, Zionism is a word, and all words apparently are symbols. And we were just talking, weren't we, earlier about how symbols are used to manipulate and control people. So, for example, if I was to walk through central London with a big placard with a certain shape on it, I could create all sorts of problems, and I could incite all sorts of feelings in people. And Zionism is no different to that. Zionism is a word. It's a word that it's just a word. It's just a bunch of symbols, a bunch of letters, and it's a word that means completely different things to different people, and evokes completely different feelings in different people. And so one of the things I was challenging you about earlier is that when you use it, right, you mean something completely different than those people that you are even talking about. Because the majority of people that I know that would call themselves Zionists would not, they would not be the same type of Zionist that you're talking about.
Danny, would you describe yourself as a Zionist?
I don't describe myself in any limited form. I just am who I am.
Danny, have you ever been, I know you're a little bit younger than him, but have you ever been seen in the same room as Richard Nixon?
I don't know. You'll have to ask other people.
Danny, it's been wonderful catching up with you, and all the best.
You too.
As opposed to what he says, I do believe that using the word Zionism is important because it describes accurately a mindset. And to me, Zionism, you don't have to be an Israeli Jew with a fanatical Judaism in your heart to be a Zionist. You could be anyone who believes in empire and the dislocation of indigenous people in order to spread your own kind. And again, it's a mathematical game. It's spreading the people of the same genes as you, the same kind of cultural mental virus. And let's not forget that culture, as Terence McKenna says, is not your friend. Culture is the operating system which your young mind is beaten with in order for you to be a certain way. I mean, it's such a truism. It's such a kind of can't see the forest for the trees, can't see the wood for the trees, because look at someone from India, they'll be Indian. Look at someone from Germany, they'll be German. Like, look at someone from Scotland, they'll be Scottish. This is the operating system which we're all brought up with. And Zionism, to me, I think describes very well this idea of we are the chosen ones, and this is our homeland, and to hell with everyone else. And I'm sorry, I have to disagree with you, Danny, on this point in particular. But I can understand that you do need to read both sides of the story, and there's a lot of Israeli people who have been injured by the conflict as well. And let's not forget these gigantic wounds do go back for hundreds of years with the persecution of Jews around the world, and also the incredibly evil Holocaust that was World War II for 6 million Jewish people. But if we're going to look at big numbers, the Native Americans suffered the greatest Holocaust, from 60 million down to 1 million. That's 59 million people, 10 times greater than the Holocaust there. And also, we need to remember that we are not our ancestors. We are not the Nazis who did this to the Jews. We are not the Jewish victims. So for anyone to use the incredible emotional baggage of the past to try and justify what is, in my opinion, a barbaric ethnic cleansing, a genocide of Palestinian people from the land there, is just kind of tugging at heartstrings which shouldn't be tugged at. But not to kind of say Israel is pure bad and the Palestinians are pure right. Let's not forget that around Palestine there's Saudi Arabia, there's Jordan, there's Syria, there's Lebanon, each with their own Palestinian populations. And for example, Saudi Arabia, with its hundreds of billions of dollars in petrodollars, could help the Palestinian people. They could employ every single last person in the West Bank and the Gaza Strip to build hospitals and schools and incredible apartment blocks. They could give them all Arab world passports so that they can travel around the world. So it's, the Israelis are very fucked up for what they do, but a 6 million person Holocaust can fuck you up. So to all the Arab neighbors of the Palestinians, I mean, fuck you too. Get off your ass, and if you really believe in this, if you believe in peace as opposed to conflict, you will go in there and help the Palestinians. I do believe it's possible to live free in this kind of corporate statist world, because one thing you can do is change your perception of the planet, and much as we kind of see from all the kind of scientific studies coming out now, and there's that great documentary on Horizon on the BBC about what is reality, and the general consensus now is that reality is a quantum hologram projected from the edge of the universe, and everything which is 3D is actually 4D, and everything which is 4D is actually 5D, ad infinitum, ad absurdum. It's even hard to say the word. So yeah, maybe all along there I was doing Love Police, trying to change the world around me, when in fact all I needed to do was change myself. And first things first, have a shave. I feel a lot more streamlined now. And it is very possible to live free in an unfree world. I mean, I just suddenly went, oh my god, of course. My very channel, what you're watching right now, is anarchist in its purest form, in terms of everything I do is free. I don't have any state control over me. I'm able to express myself freely and criticize anything I want to criticize. And everything, because it is free, any income I get to be able to afford food and clothing and travel is purely on a 100% voluntary basis, which is you guys supporting this experience. So I'm trying to lead by example here. I've managed to a certain extent, escape the paradigm of taxation and brainwashing, because every time I watch the mainstream media, I laugh and I know exactly what's going on. I have, nowadays, very little police bother in my life, and I exchange things with people on a very voluntary basis, and that's the way it's supposed to be. So we might not need this gigantic showdown with the state in order to, defeat them. We just need to walk away from them like a little trickster and say, hey, sorry, not anymore, guys. I've got my own thing going on with the other free human beings. Take it or leave it. I don't believe in offense, like Stefan Molyneux from StefBot says. We're going to argue this from first principles. The first principle is the non-aggression principle. And this is what I keep trying to say in all my videos. There is a gigantic difference between offense and defense. Defense can be morally justified. If someone tries to come and mess with you, you can defend yourself, and that's fine. And the great issue with statism and empire is that, just like capitalism, it must keep expanding and expanding and get bigger growth, and it does screw over a lot of people. One other thing we did with this real life book episode 3, myself and a friend called Mike, we went down to One Hyde Park.
Got Satan on.
Yeah, as Mike has just said that you heard on the video, we are here at One Hyde Park in central London in Knightsbridge, where they've recently sold an apartment, a flat, for £150 million. That's about $250 billion US dollars. And advertising here, we have some people rushing forward, being followed by the devil, and we just think the symbolism is just perfect for the kind of, I guess, the surrender of your morality that you have to give to.
You could even take it as the evolution of man, like how they want the evolution of man to go from dog to there's some sort of ape thing, and then to the devil, like.
Yeah, with his little pipes. And here we are. Let's just these flats, guys. You guys watching? Unless you fuck over a lot of people and hand in your morality at the door and suck Satan's cock, as Bill Hicks says, you'll never afford an £150 million flat. So let's just have a look in the kind of foyer and see what kind of symbolism they have here.
Contrast there, a couple of hands holding each other compared to the devil there.
Hiya. Sorry?
It's a private property.
No, this is open, man. There's no gates. Like, we're just here filming.
This is the private property, and you.
But we're journalists. We're here to film the most expensive flat in the world. It's £150 million.
Yes, but you need to ask for permission.
Nah, we don't need permission.
Yes.
No, but anyway, what kind of people buy apartments here? Are they Russians or Arabs?
Call the
Yeah.
sale team and
Does she have permission to be here?
This is you cannot.
Excuse me, madam, do you have permission to be here? Anyway, thank you. We're just going to do a little bit of filming and then we have to go. There we go, guys. We were here 1 second, and we've already been questioned by security, as you'd expect. Those are big elevators. Look, these are elevators for cars. Okay, this is looking into the kind of entrance foyer of One Hyde Park with some armor there. It's funny, the reception is underground, much like hell. Good morning, sir. How are you?
I'm very well.
We're journalists. We're here to do some reporting on how the scumbag rich use people like yourself and myself to kind of keep them in their ridiculous opulence. And I guess as you come up to say hi to us, first of all, I'd like to say beautiful mustache. I'm a big fan of facial hair myself, as you can see.
Thank you very much.
What kind of people live in a £150 million flat?
I've got no comment to make on that. I'm afraid I'll just ask you to contact supervisor at One Hyde Park Security.
One Hyde Park Security? No, we don't want to speak to security. We want to speak to some of the residents.
But you're saying if we go there, we'll get a list of all the residents who live here? I can just directly to speak to the director of the residences.
Yeah.
Mr. Moritz. He will give
Mr. Moritz.
And he will give you.
Good morning, One Hyde Park.
Hi, good morning. Can I speak to Sebastian Moritz, please?
You've come through to the wrong number, and he's actually not in the office today. Let me see if I can assist you. What's it with regards to?
Well, I'm calling from Globo International. We're a Brazilian TV channel. We're just trying to get a look into the people who work behind One Hyde Park and their opinions.
Right, okay. You have to speak to our PR department.
Okay, can I have their number, please?
Sure, just one moment. The person you need to speak with is Jessica Patrick.
Yeah, Jessica, yeah.
Her telephone number is 4... Good morning, Candy. Candy?
Hi, can I speak to Jessica Patrick, please?
I'll just put you through. Can I ask who's calling?
Yeah, my name's John Smith. I'm calling from Radio Globo International. We're a Brazilian news channel.
1 minute.
Thank you.
I'm afraid there's no option on her desk. Would you like me to put you through to her voicemail?
Yes, please. Thank you very much.
Sure.
Her voicemail.
Begin speaking after the tone, then hang up when you are finished, or press any key for further options.
Hi, this is a message for Jessica Patrick. My name is John Smith, calling from Rede Globo International, a Brazilian news channel. All we'd like to say, really, is to thank you for eschewing and putting aside your own dreams of fulfilling what is best as a human being, and for choosing to be a worker and a slave for the hyper-rich, and for promoting such a ridiculous monstrosity as One Hyde Park, just off Hyde Park in central London. We do hope that you do wake up philosophically, politically and spiritually at some point in your life, and that you stop serving these ridiculously hyper-rich individuals that consider people like you and I as scum. Anyway, I hope you have an amazing week, an amazing life, and remember, you're the most important person that has ever lived. Thank you, Jessica. All the best.
All right.
Information
All right.
you desire.
All right. On a more personal note, sir, thank you for coming to speak to us, but how does it feel as a normal guy like us? Like, I assume you're not rich, because we're not rich, and we assume you're not rich as well. How does it feel to kind of look after these people that consider us scum?
I can't comment any further than my...
Last night I was watching the BBC, and again, just to show you that there is no real black and white in this world, and even though the BBC is a propaganda channel for the establishment here in the UK, it does come out with some incredibly poignant and stunning pieces of journalism and nature documentary making. And as a Brazilian, I was deeply touched to see a fellow Brazilian talking about the last truly uncontacted indigenous people on the planet, and 2/3 of them live in the Amazon rainforest in the country of my birth. So without further ado, look at the last free people.